Okay, we've stripped out that alternator and we can see a few of the main parts of it here now. So what we have here is the stator windings of it. We have our main rotor feature here, which comprises of our slip rings here and our rotor winding in here and our fan either side here and these poles here. We have our regulator here, which has our spring-loaded brushes in here. Now, I'm not sure if you can see those springs. You can just see them inside there a little bit. If we can try and zoom in on that. There we go. You can see those springs inside there. So the spring is going to keep that brush in contact with the slip ring at all times on our rotor. And then our rectifier pack here, which on our this alternator has 3 negative diodes and 3 positive diodes, which are, where are we? You can see them down there actually ever so slightly. Just inside here. There's 1 there, 2 there, and the 3rd one is there. Okay, so we're going to take a look firstly at the stator windings. So if you can remember from your notes, stator windings come in 2 forms. One is either a delta and the other is a star type winding. So if we remember like this, yeah, this is our star winding here. So we have 1, 2, 3 connection points, and this point here in the middle, which is called the neutral, is where all 3 of my connections go. They all get made in there. But the giveaway as to which type of stator winding you have is if you, when you open it up first, when you look at it and say, okay, how many have I got here? These, remember, were connected together. Those are connected together, and those are connected together. So I have 3 points that I can see. Definitely no other one hidden in there. But this one, because of the neutral, has 4 points. So it can't be that one. The next type of winding that we have is a delta winding, in which case we have a winding, we have a winding, and we have a winding. Which is exactly what we have in this stator. We can see when I went to this stator winding in the first place, I had 2 of those put together. I had 2 of those put together. And I had 2 of those put together, which gave me 1, 2, 3 connections, which is exactly what I have on this winding. 3 connection points. Those 2 are together, giving me, say, 0.1. These 2 are together, giving me 0.3. And these 2 are together, giving me 0.2 up here, way up here at the top. So, and as you can see, in diagram form, all they are is turns of wire. So that's exactly what we're going to test them for, to see, are they complete turns of wire, or are they broken? So, now, this wiring, when we look at it here, it goes through a process called enameled. So it's enameled wiring. What that means is, if we look closely at each part of that, we'll see the wire has a coating on it, which is going to insulate it. So each individual winding is insulated from itself, so I could wind it one round and round and round, and from all the other 2 windings in there. So if we were going to check, say, our winding here, to figure out, is this winding okay? All we want to do is check between 0.1 and 0.3 for continuity or resistance. So I'm going to go resistance first with my meter and see what we've got. Remember now, when we're setting our meter up here, we want to have a red lead into this section here where we're ohms reading here. I have my dial turned towards ohms up here, and on my mode here I can select what mode I want to do. If I look at the top of the screen, it's on auto. The next one is a diode test up here. Or I can do a tone test up here. We'll leave it on tone and figure it out. Now remember, always when you're doing anything like this, check it works before you do anything. So just bridge it out. So, good tone. About 0.6 of an ohm in resistance in the cables, 5.5, 0.6. Okay. So, what I want to do is find out which of these windings are connected together. So I'm going to pull 2 out there like that. I'm going to pull 2 out here like this, and 2 out here like this. So let's see. Check this winding. Now I've sanded the tops of these down a little bit to get the enamel off it, so we can do this a little bit easier. So I'm on one winding there, and all I'm going to do is touch across the next and see which of these is the other end of this winding. Okay, so definitely those 2 are one winding. And back to this one now, and it's complete winding. Those 2 are another winding, which leaves me with these 2. These 2 must be connected together. Okay. So, if I wrap them together like they were in the alternator, so those 2, oh sorry, remember, which were we? We were, these 2 were together. These 2 were together. And these 2 were together. Theoretically, they should be exactly like my diagram now. And my diagram shows me if I put a connector here, I should get a connection anywhere else I go. So let's see. Pick this one. Yeah, that works. That works. And that works. Okay. So, those windings are all individual. I'm going to connect them together. They are all in series. I can connect and go around them. But there is a connection between them. There's no breaker in that wiring whatsoever. Last thing I want to check is, this is the mounting core here in the center, where it's just going to hold these windings in position for me. So what I don't want, because my alternator is going to produce a voltage inside these windings, what I don't want is it getting out to this core, because remember this core is sandwiched inside the casing of the alternator, and the alternator casing is bolted to the engine, which is earthed to the frame, and the frame then is linked to the outside of the battery. So I do not want it getting out here. So I definitely don't want a connection between any of these windings and the core here, the frame that the stator windings are going to sit in. So remember, because these are all connected now, I can pick any one of them and go to the frame. Now, you've got to scratch that frame to make sure you're getting a good connection. So we want an open circuit there. No tone, open circuit to tell us that this is correct. So if I put my meter here so we can see it, remember here, she's gone closed circuit. I have a tone. We had about 0.5 or 0.6 of an ohm in this. So if I go back to ohms here on this, 0 out. 0.2. About 0.2 of an ohm in the winding, but there's definitely no connection. Look, it's OL here between the casing and the winding, so there's no connection, which there shouldn't be. Remember, we should have a good tone and connection across our diagram, even if it's delta or stars, doesn't matter. So we want to check that winding was complete, and we did that. Our check 2 is that winding was complete. Our check 3 was this winding was complete here. The last one was that none of those windings, which we see here, are touching off that core here. Because remember, the core is going to get sandwiched in between the two casings of the alternator, and the alternator casing is bolted to earth, more or less, through the engine. Right? So we can't have that. If one of them windings touched off that, we would give a pathway for the current to leave our circuits, not go the way we wanted to go. And we would have somewhat of a short circuit. And as well as that, as we know now from alternators, our alternators produce an alternating current through this here. This is our rotor. So we've already spoke about these. We'll talk about them again. Our slip rings. So realistically, our brushes are like this. If we said our red was a positive brush and our black was a negative brush, we put a current through this, which is controlled by the regulator. So the regulator controls the amount of current that's going to flow through the slip rings and the winding. Now, if we take a very close look at this, you can see here, these slip rings here, somewhere inside them, come down and join on here. There's one connection piece of wire going into the... If we can just see it there. Comes along here, goes down here and into the rotor windings, which are in there. You can see them inside there. And on the